In this video we will discover the sculpting tools, and yeah, it's a lot to see, but I will just show you the basics and you can play with that after. So here we have two objects that I will use as examples. We have the medal here, okay, and we have the ring, and I might add some other objects to show you these tools. So the first thing you have to do to use sculpt mode is to go there and you go to sculpt mode here, or you go directly to sculpting here, okay, and sculpting will give you another here workspace with other tools, okay, you can see in sculpt mode, and the tools that you will use here will appear and the options of the tools will appear there, okay. So here, basically, to understand how sculpt mode works, it uses the geometry that existing here and modify it. So for example, if you are this kind of geometry, and then I use here the simple draw brush, and that I will just sculpt on that, you will see that it will increase the size of it. But it's like a little drawing or sculpting. It's really powerful, this tool. But you need a lot of geometry and you need to add geometry to make it good. For example, if here I just go in wireframe, you can see that I don't have a lot of geometry, so I cannot make precise sculpting here. So we need a lot of density to play with sculpt tool. So that's what we will do first. Into edit mode, we'll go in edit mode and we will just make little things here to have enough faces to work with. So this is the first possibility, and I will give you other examples after. So I will make ES here to have this kind of shape and add some loops with Ctrl R to have more density in the center, okay. And I will make the same here. I will select this one, make ES, okay, just like that, and Ctrl R, and I will add some geometry there. Okay, perfect. Now I would like even more geometry because it's not dense enough. So what I do usually, I just add a modifier multi-resolution. So if you want to work with the multi-resolution tool here, the modifier, it's like a little subdivision surface modifier, but only for sculpt mode. And here, if I increase and subdivide, for example here, remove optimal display, you can see more and more subdivisions, okay? And I can subdivide again and subdivide again to start to have enough geometry to play with. Maybe I can even subdivide again. You can see here the number of faces and vertices. It will depend of your system, if you have a good computer or not. But here you can say that between 300,000 and 1 million, it's okay. So let's say I could subdivide even more to have more details in my settings here. And now I can hide the wireframe. So from this perspective, nothing did change, but now if I use the tool, you can see that now I have something far more precise. Okay, perfect. So here we have the first tool. I will make Ctrl Z. So the first tool here, I come back to tools, is the sculpt draw. You can play with F, with all the tools, it works, what I say now. You can play with F to increase the size of the brush like that, okay? You can play with Shift F to increase or decrease the strength of the brush, okay? Or make a right click and you will have the two options here, okay, that appear. Then after you can play with smooth. For example, if I use just the click, here, I will increase a little with Shift F the strength of it, okay? And with F have something like that. Okay, so here let's say I will like to draw something like this. Okay, so this is the left click. With control click I will here remove some material. As you can see, I remove here, and with the shift click here I just smooth the geometry here, for example, and here. So very powerful here to work like that. Just left click you add, just control click you remove, and just shift click you just here smooth the geometry. So can be very powerful to play with that. So the first one is a sculpt draw, very classical one but efficient. The second one here, it's the draw sharp. Okay, you can make some lines very precise like that, so can be really interesting to work with as well. Okay, I will make Ctrl Z a few times, just like so. Yeah, like this, it's good. Come back with my subdivision here. I have enough. Maybe I did remove one subdivision. Let's see how it looks. It's enough to play with. And now here I have the clay. So the clay, it's a little like used clay actually. What is good with clay is that you can add some materials, some material like that. It will really feel like clay, like you move some material here. Okay, so can be very useful as well. So you can imagine if you are good in drawing or shaping designs with your hands, with this tool, when you know it and know how it works, it will be very efficient. The clay strips is really good to add some big shapes like that. Usually you use it like this, you add big shaping, and then after you smooth it to have the design that you want. Okay, so this one, very powerful one as well. I use mouse here, I use the mouse here, but for sure a graphic tablet will be a perfect investment for those who want to play with sculpting in the future. If you really want to invest some time in sculpting, I recommend you to do sculpting every day, 1 hour a day, and then you use the graphic tablet. It really improve everything in 1 month. So I recommend you to do that. So here, let's say it will be the classic brush that I will use. Here the inflate and the blob are really similar. They are good to make shapes like that, okay, like blobs. Okay, if you increase the strength of it with Shift F here, like for example, you will have something like that, really like blobs a little. Sometimes can be interesting to play with that. Okay, here you have the brush. This one is blob, no, this one is inflate, this one is blob. It's even more like yeah, spots or things like that. So if I increase that, and you see you have really this kind of shape, and you play with the size brush to make the things that you want with. Okay, so this one we will not use it. The crease, yeah, you can use it, but I cannot show you everything actually. You have the flatten brush, that it's really interesting, this one, and the scrape as well. So the flatten will make something flat. The scrape is a good one as well. If I use, for example, 100 here, and I would like to make some facets here. Okay, so I will use this and that to make facets a little like I want. Okay, with a big tool it works well. So sometimes can be good to make some false damaging into your designs. So here you have this. You have the here the grab brush, that this one is kind of like proportional editing. You take a part of it and you move that like this. Okay, so can be interesting as well. And the three are a little similar, but with different options. This one is more to make some snaky designs, like if I take this, you can see that it will take directly that with more strength. And after you have even more powerful tool, you can play with cloth design. You can use the mask tool as well. Like for example, if I use the mask here, okay, let's say I will take that and not this one. It's not this one, this mask tool here. The mask tool is here, sorry. So here I can draw, for example, a mask. Let's say I will take the strength at 1, and let's say I just draw a simple mask here, a simple shape. Just to have something drawn. And now with this shape, you can see that I can go with mask options here and, for example, invert the mask. And now I can only move the vertices that are in white. So if, for example, I go to the first one, the big one here like that, and use the control key for this and make just control like that. So you see that I will remove some material only on this part. I can use here the layer option as well. So you have here the height of it, and it will increase or decrease the height of this. So for example, if I put 0.2, let's say, you see that now I just have to draw my shape directly. And if I clear the mask now, I have this kind of design. So can be very interesting as well if you want to play with that. I just come back here and clear the mask. Good. So this is the first possibilities. Now we will play a little now with the symmetry here. So if, for example, I take into the x-axis, I can just use my tool, whatever tool. For example, if I take this one and make control, I will make this kind of design. So can be very interesting, for example, to add some lines like that and play with something a little more organic shape. So really, it's really as you want, what you want to design with this tool. So if you enable Y as well, you will have the 4 corners that will be drawn directly here. Here I invert things, here I invert again, and yeah, you will have the possibility to make other designs as well with this technique. So this is with the normal, let's say, symmetry axis, but you have here one that is very powerful for jeweling. It's here the radial. So if I increase the radial, it's not the good axis. It might be z-axis, maybe. Yeah, it's the z-axis. So if you increase the radial here, like let's say 10, okay, or 12 maybe, it will be very good to add some designs like that. And very quickly you will have something really interesting, as you can see, to create some shapes and designs directly on the surface, as you can see here. So can be very useful for that. For example, you could play with even more, and let's say, for example, you will go with 36 here to have a lot here, and maybe use the little blob there, and like that you could add just some little dots into the side like this. Just if I take the right size and use that, okay, just like this, and even the same in the center, okay, and now I will have this kind of shape. And I can play with the strand as well. Now I can make something bigger, like that maybe. Yeah, like this. And now I can add this kind of shape directly. Or if I want to remove, I use Control key. So very interesting to work with these tools when you know a little how to play with. Maybe something less big with F, just like this. Okay, and now you have another kind of design very quickly, just like that. Very impressive tool to play with. So now that we did play with the here the radial offset, we can play with that, for example, with the ring. So let's come with the ring. It's a low poly design, simple one. I will just select it here and add a modifier, multi-resolution, okay, to add the resolution that I need. Subdivide, 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 and even more. We have 147. I can add even more, something like that will be good. And with the same kind of tools, if I come back to sculpt mode here, with the radial here, you have really a lot of possibilities. Like for example, if I take the draw sharp here, or maybe the draw sharp will be enough, and scale it up with F here a little, you can just add this kind of shape very quickly, okay? For example, just an example, but you have so many possibilities. And if I come back here with the inverted tool with Control key, you can see that I can add more details everywhere I need. I can smooth here with Shift key what I want to smooth. So yeah, this is really endless what you can do with that, and really powerful. You can see that very quickly you have new kind of designs into a simple shape like that. I come back to the original. You could take, for example, here that one with the same here possibilities, but let's say, for example, if you go into the front view, into orthographic mode, you could play like that. For example, say we take this and you just play with that, and look, you have something really interesting there as well. So a lot of things to make, to play with, to work with. Really impressive tool, and you have something really organic in the end with this kind of tool like that. So this is the multi-res workflow, this one, the one I show you. You add a multi-res to add more subdivisions into your design. But let's say, for example, you have something really low poly and with triangles everywhere. Let's take another example like that. Like for example, you have just a shape in the beginning that you would like to expand very quickly in sculpt mode without multi-res, because the multi-res works well with quads, okay, when you have quad designs here. But if you have triangle faces inside, it will not work that well. So what I recommend you in that case is to use another technique. So let's go there and let's add another object. Let's take, for example, an icosphere, okay? An icosphere that I will scale up into edit mode like this. I will have this, okay? I come back there. You can see that it's really it's with a lot of triangles everywhere. If I use subdivision surface, usually it doesn't give, it's okay, but sometimes it really doesn't give good results with triangles. And in that case, maybe I would like to use a part that will be with facets and another part that will be smooth, for example. And how I will do that? Keep the facets in the right side and smooth it up in the left side. So let's go there into the sculpting mode. and let's have a look on that. So I will remove the radial here and put the Z at 1 by default. And now if I try to smooth things up, I have only the geometry there. So I have only 80 faces, not enough to sculpt on that. So what I do to keep the geometry and to can smooth things if I need, I have the DIN topo here. The DIN topo, it's dynamic topology. So for example, let's tell here I'm in dynamic topology. I have a detail size here by default, and if I come to this tool and try to start to use that, you can see that it creates new geometry directly with this here detail size. So what I use to work with that, I use usually not relative detail but constant detail like this. It doesn't change with the zoom, and I will just add some details where I need to, and you can fill the entire one, but it's not the one that I want to show you. So let's play, for example, you would like to add some details. I will use constant detail, and I will increase the resolution, maybe not 50, but let's say 15 first, and let's see how it looks. You can see that it adds the geometry there. So if I go in wireframe view, so it keeps the geometry there and adds the geometry where you need to each time you make a brush. Each time you use the tool like that. So here I will come back without wireframe. I will use a specific tool for that. The name is Simplify, and it will add some geometry where I use the brush without changing the topology here. You can see here, look at that. It doesn't change the shape, but it adds geometry everywhere I need to. So for example, I will just use this way. Perfect. Now if I go back without that, without the wireframe view, I can smooth this part with Shift key. Okay. To manage the smooth brush here, you have to go into the smooth here. The information that you have here will be used when you use the Shift key. So maybe I will add some strength and come back to the normal tool and make Shift to add even more smoothness. You can see that where I did not add enough topology, it will not work. So very powerful method to add some here geometry where you need. What is good with this method as well, I will put maybe 10. It might be a little too much, and you can go with the snake, for example, the snake hook, and you will have almost unlimited possibility to deform the object like that. Okay, so it's a very powerful method to add some let's say if you make an arm or whatever, yeah, can be very useful. Okay, so here it's this first method, the dynamic topology. So adding topology where you need, it's a very powerful method, but requires a lot of memory, so be careful on that. Then after, there is the last workflow. So I come back with my here wireframe view and make Ctrl Z until I have the low poly version here. Yeah, perfect. So now there is a last one, it's the remesh. You can just take voxel size here and remesh the object. For that you have to be not in dynamic topology and make a remesh, and it will remesh directly and fill the entire object with the size of voxels that you want. Okay, so very powerful method as well. And when you need topology that you see, for example, that you don't have enough, like for example here I have that, if I use this tool and go too far, you can see that I don't have enough here. So what I will do, I will just add a little, make a remesh, and it will gives me more geometry to extrude, make a remesh again, smooth things a little, and you will have enough things to play with like that. Okay, so this one is a very powerful method. What is good with these techniques is that you have unlimited possibilities of playing with the geometry. You can deform. It's like it's really like a sphere of material that you can bend, you can remove, you can add, you can smooth, you can flatten. Everything is possible with that. So let's say, for example, you would like to make something a little organic with this, you can too. So it's something that you have to experiment and to train because it's not something easy by default, but I show you how it works more or less. Let's say you would like to make kind of maybe where is my object? It's here. Ah, it's big. Why it's big like that? Layout. Oh, it's really strange to have this like that. So let's add a sphere, UV sphere, and this one is very big. So I will put it at 20 millimeters. It will be far enough. And yeah, I would like to make a kind of let's say kind of head, or just to show you how it works to manage that. So we will play with the, I really recommend you to play with references, images when you start like this, or if you want to make an animal or dragon or whatever. I will see what I will make. I'm not sure about it now, and that's what is good too, is to be able to play with this tool and really not really know what you will do, but just to play like that. So for this, I will use the remesh technique, and I will come back into sculpting mode here. And where is my sphere? I have my ring here. No, really not. Cannot focus on that. Into object mode. Can I focus on you? It seems not. There is something a little strange with the viewport. I have to go with the floor and the axe. Okay, so something strange did happen with the view here. So where are you? Alt H, only that one. Ah, it was because I did use the screencast keys here. Okay, so I will enable and remove here and put it back. Okay, so now I have my sphere that is here. I did use this one to focus only on one object. That's why it didn't show up in that. So I come back into the original settings here, and I will show you how to start with that one. So we'll go in sculpt mode here, and we will just remesh things when we want. Okay, so I make a remesh 0.1. I have now you can see far enough subdivisions to work with, so it's dense enough to work with, and I will just smooth everything out with, and for this kind of modeling I will use the X here. For the remesh I will use maybe 0.2 or 0.3 to start. I would say it's enough. You can see that now I have bigger faces and I can smooth things up very quickly like that. So I will start by smoothing this. Okay, and then after I will play with the geometry. let's say I would like to make a kind of wall for dragon. Let's go for that. Okay, I will go with the grab tool here and I will add a shape like that. You can see that I can shape really what I want precisely to make the beginning of an head. Okay. It's more like a dog now. Interesting. And let's say, let's go with dog then. We can play with whatever we want in the end. Maybe more like that. Maybe we can add more shape here. Okay. And when you see that you don't have enough subdivision in a place, like for example, if I would like to make, I don't know, ears here. Let's go with this one. Okay. Okay, and I would like to extrude that. You can see that at the moment I will have something that doesn't have enough geometry here, and you can really see it here. So you go with remesh and make a remesh like this. You will have new geometry to work with that. Okay, now let's say like this, it will be okay. Let's add a little more here. Good, nice one. Good. And after you use the tools that you want to make the beginning of the eyes, for example, you can use this one with not too much strength, maybe 0.2, it's enough. And with F, you will add, for example, geometry here to start to add some depth here at that time, at this point, and start to remove some material here, you see, just very quickly, and after you smooth things out, just like that. Okay, for example. And now you could start to work with the shape of the eyes. Let's say we'll take a draw sharp and make F and start to work with this. Okay, so with right key like that, with left key like that, we could add this kind of shape here. Okay, and play after. If you see that it's too big, you play after with Ctrl Z to come back here. Okay, let's say you have something like that. So just to place the eyes like this, then after you will add details there to put the mouth here on that part. Okay, let's say. And after, yeah, you really design things how you want. Like for example, if I come back to kind of shape of dragon here, I will come back with the grab tool here, add some shapes there like this, more. Okay, and maybe nose around here, let's say with that. Okay, with this tool we can add this like that, and after you will add maybe some scales, or there are a lot of techniques that I cannot show you now because it's a lot of time that you will spend on that. You can use back this one, the draw sharp, with less strength, and if you want to sharpen things, like for example this part here, you could use the Control key to invert this. Okay, let's say something like this here. Okay, and you can sharpen things where you want to sharpen it, and after you smooth what you don't want on the side and smooth what you don't want on another side, and you add details everywhere like that. Okay, so let's say, for example, here it will be something sharp as well on that side. Okay, and it will go until there, and after you can smooth things around. And you add details and everything and what you want. You can add some horns, for example, with this one here, the snake hook, but it will be better maybe with dynamic topology, that one. So let's go with dynamic topology. And what is the resolution? So you see that you have the constant detail. I can add here this like this. I'm sure that it will follow the resolution that is here. And now I can start to add some horns here, let's say, for example, like that. Okay, and let's add another here. Perfect. I smooth this, I smooth that. I continue these big ones here that I did start. I'm not happy with the shape. Let's say I would like to move that with the graph tool. Maybe it's better. Just like this. Okay. And after, yeah, you just have to play with all of that, and really you will see that this is really powerful, and you can add a lot of things interesting like this. Then after, you could play, for example, with the sharp here, the sharp one, and go with here, control key, just to add some interesting shapes into the horns like this, etc, etc, etc. The possibilities are really endless. So it's just the beginning of a dragon, but you could really play with that, and for an hour. I will not spend that much time, but you can really spend time, and you use a time meter to just be sure that you spend not too much time, and you tell yourself, okay, I will not be over 1 hour, and after you will be able to start to make interesting shapes. In the beginning it will look like nothing really, but in the end you will see that you will have interesting shapes. So this could be used, for example, to make some medals, or to make some pendants, or things that you will put over a shape into a ring, for example. So yeah, don't hesitate to play with that. It will really add some your style into your designs. So that's why it's important to use. I stopped for that one. I could spend a lot of time on that. You can have a look in my website, or let's say into my ArtStation, and you will have here some designs that I made with this kind of technique, like for example this one here. Okay, you can see all the details. So you can use images as well to sculpt with. I really recommend you to go into my full training. There are far more information with that. Here this one was made like that too as well, so you can see the design like this. Here all the dinosaurs that are available here, they were made with this kind of techniques too. Okay, so this is really perfect to increase the possibilities that you want of creativity here. And that's what I wanted to show you, that even if it's a kind of big hole, if you go inside, there is a lot of things to do. It's kind of new Blender, new thing, and but very, very interesting, and I recommend you to go to that. So it's the end of the chapter 2 for the Blender's native tools. We will go into the chapter 3 for using asset library and the special library that I did for you.